שחותר להשמדתנו. שחותר להשמדתנו.
We now shift our focus to the deepening crisis in West Asia. The region remains on edge. A series of events have brought West Asia closer to a full-scale catastrophic war. Early Monday morning, Israel launched airstrikes on central Beirut for the first time since 2006, since the second Israel-Lebanon war, basically. What were the targets? Three senior figures of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, PFLP, a group reportedly infamous for hijacking aircraft in the 1970s. The scenes were reportedly brutal. Two stories of an apartment building blown to pieces. Bodies could be seen lying on the street, possibly ejected by the force of the blast, and onlookers rushing towards the damaged site.
كسفوا الكولا يا جماعة كسفوا الكولا كسفوا الكولا.
What does that tell us? Why is Israel striking targets in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon? And why now? What's with the timing? The answer is quite simple. Israel's war is expanding. Just hours before the Beirut strike, Israel, as per reports, bombed targets in Yemen. So what's really going on here? Let's just take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Is Israel being dragged into this? Or is it orchestrating a broader conflict by taking the fight to multiple fronts? You see, the airstrikes in Yemen targeted Houthi forces, and this is not the first time the two sides have exchanged fire. Of course, the Houthis have been launching missile strikes at Israel for months now, claiming solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. The Houthis, remember, are not acting alone. They are heavily supported by Iran, and this is where the situation gets even more complicated. Could these attacks actually escalate into a larger Iran-Israel showdown is the question. And more importantly, is this the beginning of a wider regional war that will drag West Asia into further chaos? Because Iran is deeply entrenched in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen. The countries surrounding Israel are directly or indirectly tied to Iran's influence, basically. And as the fighting, as the hostilities spread, we are witnessing the dominoes starting to fall in a way. Look at the numbers. As per reports, in Lebanon alone, over 1,000 people have reportedly been killed in just 2 weeks. 1 million people, that's a fifth of the country's population, have fled their homes. Israel claims to be targeting Hezbollah and its commanders, but the civilian death toll is on the rise rapidly. The Lebanese Health Ministry reported 105 people killed in Israeli strikes across the country on Sunday alone. So, is this just a war between Israel and Hezbollah, or is it a war that's tearing the entire region apart? Let's not forget what's happening in Yemen. Dozens of Israeli planes bombed Houthi targets in the port of Hodeidah on Sunday, targeting fuel facilities, power plants, and docks. These were massive strikes, among the largest in the near year-long crisis, by the way. What's the connection here, you ask? Well, the Houthis have been firing ballistic missiles at Israel. One missile launched just days ago was reportedly aimed at none other than the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu's plane, as it was landing in Tel Aviv. And the Houthis did not stop there. They launched a series of attacks on Israel, including ballistic missile strikes on military targets in Tel Aviv and drone attacks in Ashkelon. But here's the bigger question. Can this conflict still be contained? Can the region avoid a war that will drag Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and the rest of the region into a full-scale confrontation? On Sunday, US President Joe Biden was asked if an all-out war in West Asia could be avoided. Here's what he had to say.
Can an all-out war in the Middle East be avoided? It has to be. We really have to avoid it. Yes, I will be talking to them, and I'll tell you what I say to them when I talk to them. Yes, sir.
But will Biden's statement be enough to prevent a full-blown war, or are we actually watching the first sparks of a conflict that will end up engulfing the entire region? Because let's not forget, Israel last week outrightly rejected US and its allies' call for a 21-day ceasefire along the Lebanon-Israel border. Along the Israel-Lebanon border. And this is no longer just about Hezbollah or Hamas or the Houthis. It's about the rapidly escalating tensions and hostilities. And what really is Israel's end game here? The Israeli military has been relentless in its strikes, killing senior commanders like Nabil Kaouk, the deputy head of Hezbollah's Central Council, and Ali Karaki, a senior commander who was struck down just days ago alongside Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah. But how long can this go on for? How long before this crisis becomes a global crisis? And more importantly, can it be stopped before it's too late? One thing is clear, the region is teetering on the edge of further chaos. The coming days, weeks, months perhaps, will determine whether things remain regional or will the crisis explode into something far bigger. But if the past 2 weeks have shown us anything, it's that we are closer to the brink than ever before. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.